Hello, everyone. It's Fred again from Notes of a Nomad. A little bit late this week. I had a lot of activity going on, so I'm finally trying to squeeze some time in to shoot a video. Video number 165. I'm in a town called Inaruwa in Nepal, but last week I spent in Damak. So let me tell you about last week. Let me share my screen. I have a few pictures that might help me explain what happened. This was the picture of the people that met me. The principal of the school by the name of Laxmi. She didn't speak English but understood English, and this was the English teacher who understood and speak English by the name of UK. They met me at the bus stop, and we went to Laxmi's home, and I relaxed and had a nice meal before they took me to the house that I was going to stay in. And this is the house I stayed in, right next to the school, or almost walking distance to the school. And it was a very nice house with a very interesting family. They just were so great, generous and hospitable. This was the owner of the house, who was a retired police officer. What a wonderful man and what a wonderful family. A few pictures of the family. Uh, this was his wife, his son, who was always asking me, "Do you need anything?" His daughter-in-law, and another member of the family, always asking, "Fred, do you need anything? Can we help you? Water, food," all the time. They just really looked after me. It was a wonderful stay in their house. And then this is the entrance to the school. This is the computer teacher who would collect me from the house in the morning. I'd climb on the back of his motorcycle and he'd take me to the school and then take me home again. That's UK again, the English teacher. And here's a picture of UK and the computer teacher and you can see in the background, very simple school, much smaller than the previous school. This was also a government-run school, not a private school, but it had only a tenth of the school students in the school, 350 odd, whereas the previous week it was 3,425. So a much smaller school, but very enthusiastic about trying to promote English in their school. So there was an enormous amount of interest. This was having lunch under sort of the metal canopy on the property. A lot of the teachers. And this young teacher had asked, "Oh, don't you want to me to come to Canada with you? I can do the housekeeping and the cooking." And I said, "No, that's not going to work for a variety of reasons. Secondly, she doesn't know I don't even have a house. So that wouldn't work. I don't have any place for me to stay. Anyway, that wouldn't work for a variety of reasons. Anyway, we did as normal. We practiced for the week. We did a presentation. These were some of the students practicing. And you'll see the back of this young girl's uh, jacket or was Saraswati Basic School in Damak. So that was them practicing, and then on Friday we gave a great presentation. Once again, I did some other activities, visited another school. This fellow, the principal, heard I was there, brought me to his school. This was from the property, the family home. Often in some of the private schools, which this is, the family home is on the property, normally the nicest building on the property. And this was a nice building. Spent an evening discussing the difference between Australian private schools and the private schools here in Nepal, because both of the principal and his wife were educated in Australia. And this was the school bus, the Japa Model Higher Secondary School, where I visited. Another place that I visited was the Damak Private Library. It's one of what they call the dynamic public libraries throughout Nepal. It has an interesting story, and this was the first public library because it was the home of the fellow who started it. And these were some of the people I met. They were very interested, and the person sitting next to me was Besraj. Now, Besraj is a very interesting history. At the age of 18, he fell off the balcony of his home and was paralyzed and is still mainly paralyzed, although he can use his arms to a certain limited extent now. But in his recovery days, he was reading books and he found there was not a shortage of books. You couldn't find a lot of books in Nepal. So he started a library, donations and so on. There aren't, doesn't not appear to be any publicly funded libraries. So these are privately funded, all these volunteers. Now they have 14 libraries, 14 different cities, and they do a lot of programs for young people. And after talking to them, they're very enthusiastic about what Agora offers because it offers so much of what they want to offer and are offering. So it looks like they want to set up clubs in their 14 libraries. So this was a very exciting meeting. This time I'm wearing a shirt that was they gave me. They insisted I put it on so they could take a group picture. I can show you the shirt a little bit later on if I remember. And then this was my fixer, or the man who looked after me. His name is Robin. It's Robin Hindra, I think is his full name, but he goes by the name of Robin. And he runs lots of businesses. He had taken me to this restaurant for a meal. It's just up the street from one of his offices where he's setting up a business, helps students either study in different parts of the world, Europe, Canada, or Australia. He also, in the building next door, the office next door, he has a travel agency where he helps people either travel, visit around Nepal, or Nepalis visit other countries as well. Particularly, he mentioned the Middle East and so on, where he took Nepalis. So he had that business. Plus, he took me to the local market, fruit and vegetable market, a very large market. This was a picture of some of the fruit. But he and his brother import fruit from China, fruit and vegetables, and they supply it to some of the vendors in the marketplace. So Robin knows a lot of people in town, including the people in the vegetable market, because he supplies them some of their fruit and vegetables. And this was before they put me on the bus, gave me another scarf as a gift. So Robin and his wife, before I got on the bus and traveled, which was a very interesting bus ride. So I was leaving Damak, about a 2 hour ride, maybe a little bit longer. However, after about 2 hours, and I was maybe another 30 to 40 minutes left in my ride, the bus stopped in the city and people got on the bus, including somebody who said, everybody, you got to move off these seats because these seats are allocated to some people. And arguments broke out. In fact, a few little punches, I think, were thrown, if I saw correctly. Who sits in what seat? And I was in one of those seats. And I was a little reluctant to move from my seat because I've had experience. You get out of your seat, six people sit in there, and you end up standing for the rest of the ride. And I'm not up to standing on the roads here and the way the buses drive. So anyway, it was resolved after about an hour, and we had people from the town I was going to, Inaruwa, phoning me saying, "Where are you?" I said, "Well, I'm stuck. People are fighting and arguing about who sits in which seat." It was quite interesting. Even the end result was a bit interesting. So that was my joyous ride that Robin put me on. This short bus ride ended up being an exciting bus ride. So with that, I'll say adios, au revoir, wishing you, your family, and friends lots of love and laughter. You might notice my voice is a bit deep. I have a little bit of congestion, nothing serious. So wishing you, your family, and friends lots of love and laughter. Until next time, bye for now from Fred and Notes of a Nomad from Nepal.